Namaste, welcome to Bharat Forum. Today we'll discuss the most important burning issue of large-scale attacks against Hindus and role of US and UK in the recent regime change in Bangladesh. So we have with us to discuss this important topic with a veteran political analyst who's a Bangladeshi American, observer of world politics, and in particular, what is generally called as a South Asian politics or the larger Indian politics, larger Indian subcontinent politics, as we call it. So, welcome, Sir Sajjad Zaheer. Of course, we are protecting his identity because it is bad times, the way people are being attacked, especially by the Islamists. So, it is important to keep his identity, protect his identity for security purposes. Welcome, Sajjad, sir, Zaheer, sir. I would like to begin with why did all this begin? Like, for example, why was Sheikh Hasina ousted from Bangladesh politics? It all began with a very flimsy ruse of reservations being again kicked in, and even that was scrapped like on July 24th. Still, the so-called protests sort of converted into a terror movement, because Hindus are being attacked large scale, and there are many areas in Bangladesh where Hindu homes are being tossed, their business and properties are being tossed, and then we even have a Hindu professor being hammered to death. And I saw videos that were so disturbing that Hindu girls, were being tied up by some Islamist women, and for them to be raped by Islamist goons. So such kind of horrible and very disturbing videos coming up from Bangladesh. So why did all this begin, or what is the reason behind it?
Unfortunately, thank you first, all the panelists or all the interviewers. If you ultimately you'll be asking questions. I would say this started as a tussle, as an outcome of tussle between you can say China and America. And America has been still nurturing certain good, quote unquote, good fundamentalists. So don't fool yourself. ISIS, Al Qaeda may be enemies, but America has good fundamentalist friends. And those Islamic fundamentalists sometimes slaughter minorities. Actually, America looks globally as just playing a chess game. Actually, it doesn't care, because I live in America. America doesn't care about people being slaughtered in third world countries. So Bangladesh unfortunately became a victim of a global chess game. So what happened? You can make the chronological events. Hasina, unfortunately, people say sometimes she is a little bit of loose mouth. She's a popular leader, but sometimes she talks undiplomatic, and it happened many, many times. But this time, she was basically putting her fingers on lion's eyes or something. A couple of days ago, Hasina said to the world press that America wanted to carve out a section of Bangladesh to make it a Christian state, and they will put a base in that area near the Myanmar border. I don't know how far it's true. Maybe it's true, maybe not. But we know one thing: in Kuki Chin area in Myanmar, some ex-Marines are training. The videos are circulated. You can see probably later on. And months ago, Hasina spoke to the world press saying America wants to get the St. Martin's Island and put an Air Force base there. And I declined. So this is another undiplomatic horror thing. But nonetheless, even if she didn't say to the world, even if she quietly declined to America, America would not like her. And we knew from the beginning, we knew all these years, Hasina was a nationalist. In 2001, when USA and India jointly wanted Bangladesh to export gas to India, at the time, India and America has a convergence of interest. Hasina was that then Prime Minister Hasina in I think in 2001. She came to World Bank and gave a speech, and she was asked the question, "Did you agree with American demand?" And she bluntly said, "I just had a meeting with Energy Secretary Bill Richardson, and I declined." Then everybody understood ultimately what would happen. Both India and America supported Bangladesh Nationalist Party that was rival of Hasina. So it is a geopolitics, you can see, back in 2001. Anyway, coming back to this time, we know very well Dr. Muhammad Yunus, who is a Bengali, a Bangladeshi, and apparently he probably supported Bangladesh Liberation War, but he has a kind of a questionable position regarding the whole Bangladesh or Bengali nationalism issue, because she never spoke out. She never used the word Bangabandhu. He never used the word Bangabandhu in any statement, hardly. And he never talked about the contribution of Father of the Nation. That's ironic, very, very strange. He never visited Shahid Minar during 21st February of any year. He never visited the martyrs that tomb in Mirpur, like a Shahid Buddhijibi, where the intellectuals kind of a memoriam. He never. So in a sense, we don't see any expression of his kind of sympathy for the spirit of Bangladesh liberation. And in 2006, I recall, he gave a speech. He was interviewed by one American media. It was a Bengali media, presumably Voice of America. And he was asked about the militancy. I think during that time, Khaleda Zia's BNP was in power, remember, 2005 or 6. And he basically downplayed the role of militancy. That's very funny. Any analyst could understand he was not very forthcoming about the militancy or Islamic fascism in Bangladesh. Okay, I'm giving exactly what he said. I can remember. He was asked, "Sir, in the village, there are a lot of attacks going on." At the time, really, there were attacks on NGOs done by Islamic militants. Remember, during the Khaleda Zia's time, and there was a bombing and killing going on by the Islamic militants. His answer was so funny and so abstract. He said, "Our youth fought in the liberation war, and they will fight the militants." He forgot to tell about the genesis or about the ideology. No, nothing. So basically, somebody can say it's just a superficial outburst. Anyway, let's come back to
Sir,
quota system.
I would like to ask here. I mean, the BNP in fact ran terror camps in Chittagong Hill area. I mean, they had these anti-India terror camps. They used to run it openly with the ISI and Pakistani army officers, and even Al Qaeda people training them. And this is kind of a very much a publicized and well-known news. So,
BNP, yeah, BNP is always tight, but let's quickly come to the current situation. Dr.
yeah.
Yunus is a favorite of Clinton. Remember, Hillary Clinton, and they were family friend. He was, and I have to be very objective to the whole situation. I don't want to be biased. Anyway, so Dr. Yunus contributed heavy amount of money to Clinton Foundation. During Obama administration, there was a seminar in Bangladesh Embassy in Washington, D.C. One State Department official, I think of South Asia desk, he might be Assistant Secretary of State or something. And during the meeting, he gave a speech in front of the audience, and he clearly said, breaking all the diplomatic norm, he said, the Bangladesh government should not harass Dr. Yunus. Hasina government. Remember, it was, I think it was in 2013 or, no, during Obama time. Anyway, so Sheikh Hasina, unfortunately, was not very friendly with Yunus. And Sheikh Hasina, unfortunately, talked a lot of, if you say like a loose talk or whatever, she mentioned also about the Padma Bridge. And remember the Padma Bridge, the World Bank wanted to build up the bridge, but Hasina declined. And World Bank and America was upset. And Yunus was connected to and Yunus also probably lobbied against building of Padma Bridge. And Hasina got the money from China and collected from herself. Basically, she gave a finger to the World Bank and to America. And both USA and Yunus were not happy. After finishing the bridge, Hasina said to the press, Mr. Yunus, come and see, and have a swim or something like in the water. Which is very, I would say, not very nice. And after that, then basically Hasina tried to harass him through some cases. In America, these kind of things going on, in political things, sometimes when Trump goes to trial, and some people say it's the Biden administration is doing this game. This game is going even in America, and it's possible when Trump comes to power, you will see another game, maybe Hunter Biden, maybe in jail. Anyway, so this time there was ongoing case going on against in the labor court against Yunus. Right now, at the moment, that case was gone. It's nullified, by the way. Anyway.
And sir, would you call him, is he an asset of the US?
Undoubtedly. It goes, what I tell you about the State Department official and do you want to know more? If you go to Google, you'll see hundreds of signatories, including Obama also, saying don't harass Yunus. You go to Google and find out. Then you can make 2 + 2. You don't have to be a rocket scientist. In 2018, now I'm coming to the student movement. 2018, the student had a quota movement. Hasina at the time, remember, the movement was not that big. Hasina negotiated and the quota withdrawn. Remember, the quota was withdrawn about the Mukti Jodha freedom fighters quota, which is 30%. Remember now how the chess game started. On 5th of June, 7 quote-unquote relatives of freedom fighters filed a writ petition to High Court to reinstate the quota. That means 2018, the quota was gone. On 5th of June of 2024, 7 relatives, who are they? We don't know. They say they are relatives of freedom fighters. Amazingly, the High Court reinstated the quota. Now, 17th of July, the students come on the street, okay, and raising they didn't raise slogans against fascism, quote unquote fascism, nepotism, corruption. No, they talked about quota. So, you have to understand what's going on. Anyway, so then Hasina is encircled by, unfortunately, some of our sycophants. They're not very, like Minister Obaidul Kader, who is, unfortunately, people say he's not very wise. Even some people call him brain dead. It's a very, even Awami League supporters also don't like him. Obaidul Kader. He was sitting all the time and giving advice. Right now, 17 July, the tension going on, the students, but the analysts could understand already, the global analysts who are watching closely, they knew the students are on the street as a part of a bigger plan. bigger plan, and which is tied to global Islamism. Now, movement is going on and going on. Hasina is negotiating. And some reports say Obaidul Qadir, the minister, Obaidul Qadir, he asked police shoot to kill. Remember, Hasina didn't say, Obaidul Qadir said. Anyway, and it never happened. Remember, Hasina was in power for 15 years. We saw street battle between Awami League and PNP. What we saw, sometimes police and Chhatro League, which is a student wing of Awami League, they battled with BNP and Chhatro Shivir, which is the Jamaatist student wing. We saw fights, killings maybe, but remember, or even BNP operatives. But remember, this time it is not BNP; it is a students. Yeah, there may be a lot of Shibir. There are also secular students who like pop music, who are not very religious. So you cannot say they are all Jamatis, but they have genuine demand. So about this thing, okay. Hasina made Obaidul Qadir said shoot, and Hasina made another blunder when a student asked, "Ma'am, sorry, a reporter asked her, ma'am, do you want the quota for also for only for? Do you want quota only for the relatives of the offspring of the freedom fighters?" She was not very diplomatic. She replied this way: "Do you want me to give the quota to the offsprings of Razakar, means the collaborator of Pakistan Army also?" You see, she didn't mean the students are Razakar. You understand what? But the press, world press, twisted as if she meant the students as Razakar. Do you understand how the whole thing was going on? Then it is true, police started the killing. And I'm talking about how and who killed whom. You know the guy, Abu Sayyid, the famous guy with the stretching hands? Abu Sayyid is a Shibir guy, the Islamic fundamentalist type of guy, because his Facebook showed that he's a fan of Delaware Saidi. The police officer who killed, and his face later on found, he don't have any mustache, he has beard, and it was later found he used to be a member of Chhatro Shibir. He was never a member of Chhatro League. And now government did another blunder. First, they said, they spoke up, oh, it was rubber bullet, rubber bullet. Then later on, they got a scapegoat. A 16-year-old kid was arrested, but it's found that later on, the government ultimately understood that no, actually the police was the killer. Finally, they arrested the police, but there no investigation. Government could say, we'll do the investigation, and this guy is a Shibir guy, nothing. Now, you may ask yourself, maybe this police officer was a part of a bigger plot, because definitely he's an Islamist, number one. Number two, if you talk about the police rules of engagement, remember last 15 years, we saw battles, Hasina's police battled. Never happened point blank, cold-bloodedly, anybody killing. This one, I'm giving you another example. End of July, one of my friends from Dhaka told me a horrific story. He was sitting beside Shahid Minar, and he was having coffee in a restaurant. He could see the Shahid Minar clearly, and he saw, I think it was during the curfew, but it was relaxed. Okay, the 6 or 7 students or young people, 20-year-old, they were chit-chatting and watching iPhones, cell phones. Okay, all on a sudden, a jeep came, police jeep. They got out of the jeep, brush fire, sped away. The jeep sped away. My friend, eyewitness, went to the kids. One kid's eye, a bullet went through his eye and the brain. Now you ask yourself, Hasina ordered that killing. But in the last, if she is a hard, she doesn't have that kind of mentality. Everybody knows, unless somebody is out of his mind. And why the government will do the peaceful somebody sitting. So there was something like deep state going on. Okay, my banker friend from Bangladesh said in month of July, remember month of July, Too much money came from Dubai.
Mm.
I'm not taking hearsay. It is a record. Please, on the record, he said, Dubai, UAE doesn't send money to Bangladesh. I mean, workers, whoever, that much money, billions of dollars. Normally, Bangladesh gets maximum amount of money from USA and Saudi Arabia. So why
Mm.
in July you make connect the dots? Anyway, now
Mm.
if you look at the some videos, also cruel videos, you will see that you will see clearly that police were killing house to house and something.
Mm-hmm.
It clear cut. Whole war, Bangladesh erupted, and globally it erupted. And I'm giving you the connection with the global Islamist. Of
Yes.
course, like everywhere, movement in UK, Germany, everywhere, it became a global movement because everybody saw Hasina's police are killing.
Mm.
Unfortunately, Hasina may not be aware because she's circled by sycophants. Okay, because
Mm.
she doesn't have any channel of communication like raw data. Okay,
Mm.
now I'm telling you, Omar Suleiman, a hardcore Islamist who is under
Mm.
watch. He's a
Mm.
Palestinian American with a great following in America. Young
Mm.
Muslims worship him like a cult figure. Omar
Mm.
Suleiman, go to his Google. He was constantly supporting the movement. Inshallah, you will. Why? He never said a finger. When I mean that Aisha, that Iranian girl was killed by in Iran, and when
Mm.
Iranian secular people revolted, he never spoke a single word about Iranian revolution, the young people's secular revolution. Why Bangladesh? And Muhammad Hijab from UK.
Mm. Mm.
You go to his YouTube. He talked about Bangladesh crying. Not only that, I tell you another revealing story you will never believe. Tanvir Chaudhary, who is known to
Mm.
be a fan of BNP Jamaat since 2001. He is based in Dhaka and Al Jazeera reporter. Tanvir
Mm.
Chaudhary is tied to BNP. It is known
Mm.
since 2001.
Mm.
Go to Tanvir Chaudhary's Facebook, Tanvir Chaudhary of Al Jazeera,
Al
based
Jazeera.
in Dhaka. He had a posting. He reposted somebody's text.
Mm.
Hello, rank and file army, revolt against your major officers. Imagine a journalist belonging to foreign news media is saying, so can you connect the dots?
Yes.
Global jihadis, global Islamists are united. Now, unfortunately, America is also in the play. Yunus is also in play. George Soros might be in the play. So Hasina, how can she confront the chess game? Ultimately,
Mm.
what happened? She on last day, 5th of August, there was a 5 million people from all over. Because what happened? Hasina tried to negotiate, but it was too late. There are a lot of killings going by the police who might be deep state, and she probably doesn't know. And Abdul
Mm-hmm.
Kader was brain dead, and she changed Abdul Kader and reinstated Nanak, another guy who has got some brain, Nanak. And it was probably done on 3rd or 4th of August. It was too late.
Mm.
On the remember on the 4th of August, she made another big mistake, and her advisors told, "Let's Awami League come back." So
Mm.
there was a demonstration with Awami League. She thought she was totally out of reality. The whole world is watching the police brutality. Oh, by the way, Obaidul Kader also one time told, asked the student Chhatro League to come down the street. Chhatro League also did some brutality. And in the
Mm.
also other side, that students became mad with the police. They also stormed the police building. And in the meantime, they burnt alive 13 police, hang body of
Mm-hmm.
police. And
Mm.
among the 13 police, there was a pregnant woman.
Oh.
On the 5th of August, what happened? The long march, people
Mm.
from all over the country
Mm.
was storming Gana Bhavan, the Prime Minister house. Drone video footage seen by my friends, they say at least 5 million people were coming. Oh, in the meantime, our army role, I forgot to tell, army was sometimes on the street, sometimes not on the street, and sometimes withdrawn. But on 5th of August, actually, Hasina called the army, and I think army was helped her in a sense. they put barricade inside.
Hmm.
Hasina, in the last hour of Bangladesh, she asked the army chief, "Can I go to visit my father's house in 32 Dhanmondi?" Said no. The reality was, if she would drive, the people would burn, kill her like a chopping. I mean, like she would be chopped off like anything. Imagine
Hmm.
how much angry with Hasina. So
Hmm.
Hasina has 45 minutes to, she could not even drive to the airport because people are waiting. 5 million, remember, 5 million people. They could storm White House anywhere. I'm just giving an example. So ultimately, a helicopter came and she flew from Gana Bhavan to airport, and from there, another airport, a plane took her to Agartala, and you know the rest. Now,
Uh, uh,
now tell me what else? What you ask?
so, in the 15 years of Sheikh Hasina's rule, we've seen many Islamist parties coming up. And now you also told about how Islamists or the Jamaat people had sort of got into the police too and
Yeah, yes, yes.
created a scene. So, how did this happen? How could Sheikh Hasina not handle it or stem this
Very good. Easy,
radicalization?
easy answer. Easy answer. Unfortunately, Hasina, for some reason, she knew corruption was going on. Bangladesh actually has been seeing the enormous amount of corruption lately.
Hmm.
But when she tried to find out, or you can say curb some corruption, because Benazir, you probably heard the name Benazir Ahmed, was a police chief. Actually, ultimately, Hasina caught a couple of months ago, $100 million worth of assets, and he bought lands from Hindu property and all this. Benazir, and he had
Hmm.
probably shifted billions of dollars, God knows. So, but it was in the press. Actually, he flew the country. Actually, again, the question comes how he could flee, because there are his followers in the airport. It was corruption. Because of the corruption, if a country is fully corrupt and Jamatis can easily infiltrate.
Hmm.
I was told, even Hanif, Mayor Hanif, or some Awami League leader, I mean, I cannot really say, but it's true or not, I don't know. But I was told some Awami League leaders actually were bribed millions of takas and allowed many ex-Shibir who used to do Chhatra Shibir. So
Hmm.
the police has many Shibir guys, cadres are
Hmm.
already in the police. You understand how it happened? So
Yes.
Hasina may or may not know. I don't know. Probably she doesn't know. But
Hmm.
those guys or those Awami League leaders who allowed
Hmm.
knew because they got the money.
Okay. So she was kind of sabotaged by her own corrupt people in the party too, Sheikh Hasina.
Undoubtedly, undoubtedly. Now, most importantly, you have to understand that the whole world should understand. Hasina had existential problem. Awami League also. In 2001, when BNP, Bangladesh Nationalist Party, came to power with the blessing of USA and India, and
Mm-hmm.
that is a coalition was with a four-party Islamic group like a Jamati, Islamic Oikojot, and that kind of things. And they immediately unleashed a terror on minority Hindus.
Mm-hmm.
Immediately, within 2 weeks. And Shahriar Kabir, a famous filmmaker, he actually made a film and interviewing people. But ultimately, Shahriar Kabir was jailed by Khaleda Zia. Khaleda Zia is no angel. People cannot say. She did a lot of fascistic thing also. Muntasir Mamun is an academician. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a bomb blast in Mymensingh Cinema Hall. Muntasir Mamun was arrested for. Imagine how stupid Khaleda Zia was. But
Mm-hmm.
Khaleda Zia's son, Tarek Zia, remember,
Mm-hmm.
who is now in Bangladesh, Tariq Rahman. He's a goon. He has got link with Dawood Ibrahim, but he was
Mm-hmm.
given asylum in England because
Mm-hmm.
England doesn't care. And a lot of times, a lot of shady people are in England, and this is the
Mm-hmm.
life. This is the reality. Tariq Zia's linkage with a mafia type of people was in a diplomatic cable communication, which was exposed by WikiLeaks a couple of
Mm-hmm.
years ago.
Yeah.
Tarek Zia is also like his father, a bloodthirsty guy. Tariq Zia actually instigated the 2004 grenade explosion where Hasina almost got killed. Remember 2004?
Mm.
And Ivy Rahman, Awami League leader, was killed. And, so you see, BNP is basically a murderous group. Hasina is corrupt. Hasina harasses Khaleda. Hasina jails Khaleda. Hasina, what I call it, puts Yunus to court. But Hasina doesn't bomb blast. During Khaleda's time, remember, not only attacks on Hindu minority, during Khaleda's time, Khaleda Zia's 2001 to 2006 rule, there were bomb blasts in 64 districts simultaneously. Bangla Bhai, a Al Qaeda guy, was flourishing. During Khalida's time, remember, 10 trucks of arms were seized, where later on found Lutfuzzaman Babur, his home minister, was involved. Those arms were going to Assam Rebels Alpha, ULFA. Remember, Khalida's time. During Khalida's time, Delawar Hossain Saidi, who is a Jamati leader or Jamati supporter, who was MP later on, he was directly linked to an arms shipment to Mindanao Islamic terrorist group in Mindanao, Philippines. Interestingly, the Filipino Navy intercepted and that ship was drowned, sunk. Now, American intelligence knows about Delawar Saidi, and Delawar Saidi was in no-fly list in America. Delawar Saidi later on tried by Bangladeshi International Criminal Court, and he died in the prison. Now, the question is, Bangladeshi people has become Islamized. The reality is that. And there, I mean, I should tell you the frank, and Ziaul Haq came to power in Pakistan, and before his death, he already Islamized the Pakistan army, and also he invented a word like Allah Hafiz, Ziaul Haq of Pakistan, Allah Hafiz, because many Muslims, extremists or Muslim, what I call it, scholars say, Khuda means multiple gods, Persian word. So they started Allah Hafiz in Pakistan. Now Bangladesh, Khaleda Zia also started Allah Hafiz. Now everybody in Bangladesh, I mean, it's very popular, Allah Hafiz, no more Khuda Hafiz. So Bangladesh is shifting its gear. And in Pakistan time, we saw people were not going to mosque that much. People are not really. And in the offices, my father didn't pray a namaz in his office. Remember, nowadays every office has got a prayer area. A college like Notre Dame College students didn't pray during the noon time. Nowadays they pray, and Bangladesh is over religious. There is a mosque in every corner. Now you just understand, Bangladesh was based on a secular values. Bengali nationalism is secular values, where you say Allah Hafiz, and you go to any YouTuber of Bangladeshi, like a woman in UK or Germany, a Bengali woman, 90% of the YouTubers will say every word, Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah Gayatri, how are you? Alhamdulillah Gayatri, did you eat? Subhanallah, you didn't eat. This was not in the vocabulary of Bangladeshis in 1970s, 1980s, for God's sake, or 1990s. Now everybody, Alhamdulillah. Now give me, you answer to me, a person who say Alhamdulillah, Subhanallah, and also hijab was not a common at all in 1973. Full-fledged hijab scarf, you will see everywhere in Bangladesh. And those hijab are not like the Iranians are wearing, like some scarf. You will see no hair. It's a hardcore hijab of women. So people are very much Islamized. And it is true, Awami League doesn't have any popularity. And it is true. See, this is very interesting. If Hasina loses in the election, again, BNP would come to power. Again, it would be more radicalized. Again, they will bomb blast. Hasina may be killed. You see, Hasina has to survive. She knew the trick. With the help of India supported, Hasina played a game. In the last election, she won, but there was no contest because, this game. But if it was a really free and fair election, I believe BNP would have gotten the majority. I believe so. Now, your
Why do you
question is,
think the elections were rigged? I mean, are you suggesting that the elections were rigged?
no, no. Last election was not rigged. No,
Yeah,
it was election engineering. This last election was free and fair because
yeah,
some of the sitting ministers were lost. You understand? But
yeah.
it was not a level, playing field because the main opposition party, she didn't negotiate. So main opposition party did not participate. So you understand, it's not rigged, but not fair, I can say.
But it is on Khalida Zia. I mean, she did not participate. What can Sheikh Hasina do about it? I mean, what does she have to? Why should she be blamed for that?
She because this another complex situation in Bangladesh election. In 2001, there was a caretaker before the election. The power
Yeah.
goes to caretaker, but in 2001, later on it was found the BNP has got money talks, billions
Mm-hmm.
of dollars. They actually bought the election commissioner and the other people who
Mm-hmm.
actually worked in the transition government, but the transitional chief. So they were bought by
Mm-hmm.
BNP. Do you understand? And there was a interesting election engineering. So actually, one time Hasina liked this caretaker government during the
Mm-hmm.
transition period. This time BNP wanted, but Hasina didn't. Hasina was scared. She didn't want. That was
Mm-hmm.
the point.
But sir, don't you think in 2000, I think it was in 2009, the Bangladesh High Court had held that the caretaker government is unconstitutional and commission can very well take care of the election process being free and fair and there's no need for a caretaker government. So it was not that Sheikh Hasina was doing anything illegal by not putting a caretaker government in place during the elections.
Which one? 2008, you were saying after the army, that is after 111?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In 2009, there was a court verdict saying that the caretaker government, the kind of provision to have a caretaker government during elections is unconstitutional, and the election commission can very well see to it that there is free and fair elections and there is no need for a caretaker government. That the verdict came in 2009, and from then on they never had a caretaker government. So how is Hasina to be blamed for not putting in a caretaker government during elections? I mean, because
The
that was the
problem
court
is,
verdict.
if you be very fair, I should now you have to understand one thing. You are playing against wolves. You know that. I mean, you say in that sometimes they say in love and war, everything is possible. Anyway, so this is a war. Actually, you are fighting against the uh, evil Islamists.
Mm-hmm.
So in 2014, Hasina was in power. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I was in Dhaka also before the election, and I saw that was actually that was I'm not sure BNP didn't take part, but anyway, there are some rival parties. So now BNP lukewarm. I think I mean I'm not sure. I have to look into it. Anyway, there are a lot of reports. Election was fully rigged. You understand? I'm not talking about 2018, 2014. The election was compromised, and
Mm-hmm.
Hasina actually, I mean, won. But the election was questionable. It was not a free and fair election because there are a lot of reports that the votes were given at night. You understand? It was not, but
Mm-hmm.
this time it was really much more free and fair, I can
Mm-hmm.
say. So maybe that is the reason they were again, BNP was asking, but Hasina didn't listen to BNP because Bangladesh, I told you, Bangladeshis are not the Bangladeshis of 1971. Bangladesh people has been radicalized. That is the not. Hasina didn't understand. Maybe she understood. 60-70% Bangladeshis are very pro-Islamic, and I would not go to that extent. If there is a referendum, they will join Pakistan. But I can tell you, two things are happening. If you want, please you understand to please understand the Bangladeshi Muslim psyche. I know one Bangladeshi guy who actually who writes for Al Jazeera also. He's a supporter of Shibir or Jamaat. He lives in America. A Bangladeshi guy. I think born in 1972 or 73. Anyway, his father was tortured by Pakistani army. His leg was injured. Remember, anybody's family like that injured by Pakistani army would not be a fan of Pakistani. Unfortunately, the Islamic ummatic, you have to understand, Islamic fellow feeling is like this sometimes.
Yes.
That you are a Muslim brother, you raped my sister. Oh no, that is a misunderstanding. I'm sorry, we are all Muslims. Now our target is Malaun, the infidel Hindus. Do you understand? I'm saying that is the skewed mentality of some Muslims. You have to understand that. It is a mentality of Islamic brotherhood. That guy is now supporting, that guy is supporting Jamaat, Shibir, and that guy is now cheering up that, because he is a hardcore Islamist. Do you understand? So this is the
Yes.
mentality. And now in this backdrop, and I told you, Allah Hafiz, Alhamdulillah. So Hasina has no role. Hasina recently started Joy Bangla. Now, when Bangabandhu statues were de desecrated, when a guy even peed on the father of the nations, nobody cried. Because who cares? I know some of my relatives in America, they hate Hasina and maybe to some extent Sheikh Hasina. Not because Hasina is corrupt, not because she is fascist. Only reason is she is pro-independence and she broke up Pakistan. That's in their heart. So 65 to 70% are pro-Pakistani or pro-Islamic. And another factor is also India. Mamata Banerjee, the Muslim friend Mamata Banerjee, she is a friend of the Muslim votes in West Bengal, but she doesn't want to give the water to Tista, Bangladesh. Bangladeshi people are crying. On the one hand, Bangladeshi people, many people love Mamata because Mamata is Muslim friendly. Mamata is anti-Modi. And they don't understand that Modi wanted to give the water, but they hate Modi because he's a Hindu nationalist. Bangladeshi Muslims hate Modi but love Mamata. But forget that Mamata doesn't want to give the water. And also remember, this is the important thing you should tell Indian government or something. BSF mistakenly kill a lot of people. Maybe somebody is smuggling a goat or cow. He is not smuggling arms. In America, millions of people coming from Texas, not a single bullet was used. But BSF randomly killed people on a regular basis. Indian Border Secretary, that was a tremendous, it brings tremendous hatred against India.
Yeah, but sir, here I would like to say, because it is not just because a few days back, BSF woman officer tried to stop many Bangladeshis who were coming with arms and trying to force in. So it's not that easy from our side too. I mean, we face a lot of problems too. That is
No.
to put a point
But only thing that
across.
no, this American will do the same thing. I'm just telling you. If innocent, like
And in fact, in America, we have normal citizens carrying arms and shooting people who try to come across from Mexico to America. I mean,
no,
they have
yeah,
vigilante sort of protectionism.
yeah, I agree. But the question is that felony, the girl. It was actually Jamatis and all these Shibir people always. They have got tremendous network in the internet. That anyway, anti-Indian feeling
Anyway,
is tremendous. Bangladesh. That is the bottom line. You understand? But I
yes,
should
sir.
I should give it another opposite thing in Afghanistan.
Mm,
Even under Taliban,
mm,
every Afghan loves India. Almost every Afghan hates Pakistan. That's a different story. You understand? Anyway, go
mm.
back to our subject.
A- And sir, what would you say about the dangerous sort of love affair between US and Jamaat, Bangladeshi Jamaat, because Bangladeshi Jamaat is very Islamist. Not only that, it is close to China too. So, and BNP is closely related to Jamaat, Bangladeshi Jamaat. It is very intertwined. So, what do you say about this?
Bangladesh Jamaat was once part of Pakistan Jamaat. In 1971, when Bangladesh war broke out, remember, and Rao Farman Ali he was one of the killers or army chief in East Pakistan. Major General Rao Farman Ali. He had a list of Bengali intellectuals. Actually, it was found later on by the Indian army who ultimately liberated Dhaka. So Rao Farman Ali was very closely tied to Jamati people. You understand? On the other hand, Rao Farman Ali's diary indicated two shady characters, two American names who probably part of defense intelligence. Or so in a sense, Rao Farman Ali was connected to American intelligence also, and Rao Farman Ali was connected to Jamaat. And these Jamati people were, I mean, but they then East Pakistan Jamaat. They were butchering innocent intellectuals, in the after liberation in Rayar Bazaar place, in a place that they saw even a butchered lady, Shilalipi editor, Selina Parveen. She was butchered by Jamatis. You understand? America, you might be, I mean, we should not fool ourselves that American intelligence didn't know. But America at the time, because of the global tension, America became connected with China. Because and who was the broker? Who mediator? Mediator was Yahya Khan. General Yahya Khan actually mediated. America China became friend, and against the Soviets. Soviet India were close, and Soviet and India actually helped giving birth to Bangladesh in 9 months, which is icon. It's like you call it cesarean, we call it C-section. So Bangladesh would not be independent in 9 months. It's impossible. But Soviet bloc country, Poland, Hungary. I mean, if you go to the history in the United Nations, you can see they played a big role. Okay. Now Jamaat was friend, and you can see some text like somebody wrote. I heard somebody wrote an article called "America's Dangerous Liaison." I mean, I read that article, and it also gives some clue. I mean, how still now, because one American ambassador in Dhaka a couple of years ago said Jamaat is a moderate Islamic country. So get your math. So what we have the answer already.
So it's a very dangerous game that US is playing. It's not as though the snakes that it rears in its backyard wouldn't bite it. I mean, America too is getting Islamized. UK is already, I mean, many parts of UK is already Islamized. So, what do you think is the for example, now we have very bad situation of Hindus. Right now, I got a message saying a Hindu girl is being kidnapped in Naokali by 7, 8 Islamist boys. So how do we protect Hindus in Bangladesh? Number one, what do we do about it? What can India do about it? And are you happy with what India is doing, or what India is not doing about the situation of Hindus in Bangladesh, and the international reaction also?
First thing, you already heard, I already narrated the chronology of events, and you can easily see something was going on, something fishy going on. Anyway, Hasina is fascist. Okay, global news is New York Times, German Deutsche Welle, everywhere, and even then, German media Deutsche Welle, they always interview people who are pro BNP or something like that. Anyway, now the question is, your duty, actually, I can say, your organization or your media should also propagate this side. This side is not being propagated internationally. And not only that, nobody is propagating the lynch mob's attack on Awami League. Other than the Hindu minority, Remember, the five-star hotel in Jasor was burnt. 25 people were burnt to death. You know why they burnt the five-star hotel called Zabir? And you go to Google and find Zabir, Zabeer, because the owner was an Awami League leader. That is his fault. So this is going, imagine this is going to that extent, but Western media is mum. What they're saying, a fascist is gone, but right now whole country is under the Taliban's in a sense. Now army is not doing it, and also robbery is going on in different neighborhoods. My suggestion at the moment, okay, one thing is little bit light at the end of the tunnel. Dr. Yunus came to Dhaka, and students are launching a so-called caretaker government, but students are being the main power broker at the moment. Remember, game has not ended yet. Army is still having its own problem. Army is not fully Islamized. I can tell you that much. Okay, army, but army is in the cantonment. The students already said that we would not allow army to take over. We will. These kids of yesterday, how much world politics they understand. But the question is, there's some of the kids are, again, I'm telling you, some of the kids are innocent, secular type, but there are plenty of Shibir, Chhatra Shibir, quoted by Canada. I think you can look into certain portals. Some countries consider it as a terrorist organization. Chhatra Shibir, I know some counter intel people in deployed by Defense Department. They already studied Chhatra Shibir. Remember, in America, not everybody is Clinton or not. America has got different branches, like a Homeland Security. So I'm talking about Defense Department analysts. They already consider Chhatra Shibir as terrorist organization. So these student leaders, undoubtedly, they are predominantly infiltrated, or I mean, today, tomorrow, it will be more clear. There are some Chhatra League students who defected from Chhatra League, true, but there are plenty of Shibirs. So if what will happen, I don't know. But at the moment, to salvage the Hindu minority, I can suggest the army. Army should take care. Our army should at least border and India should advise the Bangladesh army, because the police is totally gone from the streets. You know why? 400 police stations were burnt, ransacked. How I heard from his report, thousands, you listen to me, thousands of police are killed by students or by the hooligans, by the Islamists. We don't know. The police chief from hiding asked the police officer not to go, and there is no police. There is a wild, wild west in every city. Robbery is going on. You understand? At the moment, it's very chaotic. Army is helping the law and order in some cities, but army should also help the Hindus. That's my point.
So I, in fact, got some reports in the media saying that in some area, even the army and the police is attacking Hindus. Perhaps the Islamists have infiltrated into, of course, they are infiltrated into the police that you have yourself spoken about. And army too, perhaps, is suffering a little. I mean, they have infiltrated the army too, perhaps, because we have
No,
got such
it's possible, but I didn't hear the report, but it's possible. But even you talk about the police. Police is totally gone at the moment. I just let you know, there is no police at the moment. They are already boycotting the government, or established. There is no government at the time. Probably today, Yunus is calling the government. You can watch your TV. I think we don't have any. Bangladesh doesn't have any government at the moment. So you understand.
And Muhammad Yunus, is he very friendly to the Islamists? What is his view on the war crime tribunals? Was he because the war crime tribunals held even many Jamaat people, 9 Jamaat people, and I think 2 of the BNPs guilty of war crimes. They were tried for it. So, what is Muhammad Yunus's attitude towards that?
Simple
His
answer.
opinion.
Simple answer is, as far as I mean, I read his mind. He doesn't care. He doesn't care. Although he claims that I know When Yunus in 1971, he was in America, I knew that he probably attended one or two meetings, maybe with somebody saw him, but his total role, and I tell you, at the moment, some researchers are investigating. I just tell you this much. His role in 1971 is very shady. I tell you that, and nothing else. Anyway, but I cannot say yes or no, but more things will come up very soon. Now, he's very close to BNP. I'm not saying Yunus is Jamaat. Yunus, but unfortunately, you have to understand, after the Iranian revolution, Bani Sadr, and there are a lot of, and I tell you one thing, what's happening now, it's very fluid situation. I don't see, I'm not a fortune teller. I don't have any crystal ball. I don't see much future in Yunus. Because the little kids without much, of tremendous enthusiasm, they are creating a government, and it doesn't happen. Nature says it doesn't last. Anyway, nature says. And Yunus may be toppled today, tomorrow. There is a danger. India should understand the situation. Jamaat, these are Jamaat and others are in very much. Couple of examples. You're talking about atrocity on minorities. Okay, I'm telling you what's happening. Okay, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman was the fascist dictator's father. Okay, pee on his statue. Take out his figure. Take out his name from the Karnafuli underground tunnel. Take out, they're doing that. Okay, take out his picture from the embassies all over the world, which is also undiplomatic. You cannot do that because, after all, he's a founding father. Anyway, go ahead. Why you are destroying the statue of Rabindranath Tagore? You see who are doing that? These innocent babies, those student revolters. Why? Statue of Jainul Abedin, a painter who is not Hasina's relative, and you destroyed, defaced his face, a statue in Mymensingh. And why Barrister Tuhin Afroz? Remember, Barrister Tuhin Afroz is not Hasina's pet. She was one of the prosecutors in war crime trial. The picture came recently. You will be horrified. They shaved her head and burnt her hands. This is not in the world press. Please disseminate this information, get more information. And I tell you one thing about the Hindu atrocity, and definitely Bangladesh is gradually going to Taliban. Now, if Yunus dies, now you see what will happen. If supposing Yunus get assassinated, students will shout. Shibir is already organized. You can see on the roads, many of the students who are, Shibir has got great network in internet, not Chhatra League. They are already very computer savvy. They have connections all over the world. And I told you, Omar Suleiman, Palestinian American, I think based in Houston in America. Global jihadis have ties. Muslim Brotherhood has ties to Shibir. So don't downplay the game. So ultimately, Shibir will, and if there is an army revolt and Islamist leader comes in from the army, oh God, case closed. Bangladesh will be fully Afghanistan. So Indians should understand that what the volatile situation we are going through.
Yes. So does America want to create, to make Afghanistan out of Bangladesh? What is its gain in it?
Oh, I'm sorry, I couldn't stop laughing. American policymakers, unfortunately, I wouldn't say they are brain dead. Maybe not they are brain dead. Maybe they don't want in Afghanistan. I'm being very sarcastical. Maybe, what could happen? Of course, those Bangladeshis coming from Bangladesh after 10 years in Afghanistan type of, they will come to America. They will plant some bombs, undoubtedly. They will do that. Then America will arrest those kids from Bangladesh. America might put Bangladesh in watch list. But America may also, because if India asks, America will put drones, because that Obama did attack a drone. Obama administration and attacked Pakistan many times, highest number of drone attacks. So you have to know, most Muslims of the world loved Obama. accepting Pakistanis because Pakistanis suffered much. So it
Mhm.
will be another thing. Maybe America will attack Bangladesh by drone attacks because now I'm telling you, a lot of times America's fault is U.S. administration's fault is that they look into the short term. Biden administration, and at the moment you can see what they're doing in. I'm talking about. I don't want to talk about Israel. I'm talking about Ukraine. So if you talk about Trump, Trump actually stopped or cleared up the ISIS mess in Iraq-Syria border. During Obama time, Obama was not forthcoming in crushing the ISIS. So remember, we have election in November, and
Mhm.
we are expecting, I hope, beginning of Trump might change. But there some people say no, the South Asia desk is still will be still governed by or managed by those old people. It may be true, and those people may be doing the same policy. But again, if the lobbyists get to Trump and tell, like, I know some Hindu activists are very much active now. Hindu activists are now going to Trump, somehow linkage with Trump. So
Mhm.
you don't lose your hope.
Mhm.
So if Hindu Americans rise up and tell Trump that this is going in Bangladesh, Trump might overwrite what the State Department thinks. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes. Yes, Hindu Americans do need to muscle up and get it because the Israelis, Jews also make America do its bidding, right? So Hindus need to buckle up and get things done in America because we contribute a lot to their richness. And so, one more thing I would like to ask you about is BNP has its own Hindu wing, Hindu Mahajot, and people from this Hindu Mahajot have been trying to say that the Jamaat is not attacking Hindus and such things. So what do you say about that? Such people who are actually traitors of Hindus themselves.
Now, this has been going on all the time. They are like collaborators, you can say. So I mean, not only that. Do you want to hear another name? I would not say he's a stupid or because I knew him. Mahfuz. Mahfuz is a so-called secular. He's not a really, but so-called secular guy, and he is the editor of Daily Star, and
Mhm,
another is a Prothomalo. These two news
mhm,
outlets were always critical of Hasina, although Hasina is fascist, quote unquote. Okay, remember,
mhm,
I'm giving you some examples now. People say Hasina fascist, but Asif Nazrul, who is now advisor to the new government, Dr. Asif Nazrul from Dhaka University, who is very much pro BNP, pro Jamaat, he was always on TV, 10 TV channels, always criticizing Hasina. Hasina didn't harass him or arrest him. You understand? So these Hindu Mahajot, whatever they say, these are all kind of a baloney. Mahfuz Anam, remember the name Mahfuz Anam, recently came
mhm,
to Indian channel. And he
mhm,
said, oh, some Indian people think, that Jamaat is behind everything. No, 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 it is wrong. He was giving total crap. I think either he doesn't see anything or he deliberately is a diabolical conniving, unscrupulous guy, Mahfuz Alam, who used to do Communist Party backed Chhatro Union in 1972. You understand? This type of people can flip flop. He is basically appeasing the. At the moment, Bangladesh is danger in the hand, almost in the hands of the global jihadi. That is the reality.
mhm, mhm, mhm. Yes, sir. And do you think in these circumstances should India sort of take the initiative to ask Bangladesh to for a population exchange and a land exchange too? For example, like say in this area, like in the area of Rangpur, like we remove the Muslims from that area and put all the Bangladeshi Hindus there and give that area over to India. And perhaps I don't know, many people will disagree with me, and there was even I too have problems slightly. But there is a suggestion also that we give away 24 paraganas, which is fully Islamized and radicalized from our end. So we give it away to Bangladesh and take over in Rangpur with Hindus.
I think whatever you're saying, I mean, I don't have any comment at the moment, but only thing I can tell you, please wait and see. Right now, Bangladesh is under nobody's control. So you cannot say it's very fluid situation. Let's go, at least wait for 1 year. Then,
Mhm.
this proposal may come up. I mean, anything can happen anytime, I tell you. Anything can happen. So
Mm.
Dr. Yunus, I predict Dr. Yunus may not stay long, may not, I mean, if he stays 3 years, I'll be surprised. I mean, you see, I'm not a rocket. I mean, I'm not a crystal gazer. I'm not a fortune teller. But my reading says he will not stay long. But if he stays 3 years, good
Mm.
for it. Let's cheer up. Let's have a toast.
Mm. Although I do feel that whatever land you give to any area where Islamic radicalization, as they put it, is it's almost a given. Like anybody, so-called secular Muslim today becomes a radical tomorrow. So it's a process. So I think thereby, before the Islamists take over whole lands, we need to do something about it.
Correct.
Especially India needs to do something about it. The
Okay,
more
correct.
land you give, mm,
Yeah, I want to add something.
yeah.
Very important thing. Hasina was originally little secular, okay? Sheikh
Mm-hmm,
Hasina.
mm-hmm,
But she had to ultimately give in to the Islamists, especially Hefazat. Hefazat once revolted a couple
yes.
of years ago, and in Shapla Chattor, they almost toppled the government. Remember, Hefazat, all
Mm-hmm,
that. And this time also remember this long march, 5 million, many of them were Jamatis and Hefazat. Because Jamati
mm-hmm,
was disbanded by Hasina a couple of days ago, but those
mm-hmm,
Jamat rose up. But I'm telling you, Hasina actually changed the curriculum and appeasing the Islamists. Hasina, Sheikh Hasina, appeasing the Islamists. She allowed the madrasa students to Dhaka University. But
mm.
remember, the Islamists have, you cannot satisfy them, you
Yeah,
know.
they are
So,
unsatiated.
and in a sense, but I'm comparing one thing. Hasina strengthened because she established a mosque 562 model mosque. Those people or madrasa also, Qawmi madrasa. Those students, do you think they will support Hasina at the end? No, no, not at all. You know that. So I'm giving comparative example how
Mm-hmm,
a secular person can make a country more secular. Prince MBS, Mohammed bin Salman of Saudi Arabia, he's a
mm-hmm,
die-hard secularist. And if
mm-hmm,
he's a fascist, you didn't see any fascist here, no Hasina. I know about because I was in Middle Eastern countries and I am in touch with some Saudis. I mean, I had been to. So I know Saudi Prince bin Salman in an interview, he said, Prophet Muhammad also had made mistakes. If this
mm-hmm,
word uttered by any Bengali or any guy, he would be slaughtered the next day. But that is Salman. Prince bin Salman jailed the imam of a mosque in Mecca. Why?
mm-hmm,
Because that imam said one thing, that the current government is not very good and they are doing a lot of Western influence. I mean, they are under the influence of Western culture. Our society will be ruined. That kind of things. He was jailed 10 years. Prince Salman has jailed 10,000 imams. But remember
mm-hmm,
that Prince Salman is dictator. Prince Salman also chopped the body of Jamal Khashoggi. You know that, and
mm-hmm,
ultimately Biden, who wants Biden and CIA, they said he is a criminal, but Biden shook hand. You know that also. Okay. Now Hasina is fascist. Okay. Hasina, I already told you how much fascist she is. Yeah, there
mm-hmm,
might be some forced disappearance. A lot of things can happen, but people are speaking. I told you there was corruption. But if you compare, Hasina could not create the secularist values. Hasina did not, unfortunately, because Hasina had to survive, she actually appeased the You said snakes? I'm quoting one American counter intel guy who worked with the US Army. He was
Hmm.
watching Bangladesh. In
Hmm.
2017, he said I heard that he said he was working with the counterintelligence with the Defense Department. He said Hasina is playing with venomous snakes.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
you and he has the same opinion. So you understand that is happening today because the snakes ultimately gave
Yeah.
their last show.
Absolutely. There is no compromise that you can do with Islamists and Islamism. I mean, the more you compromise, the more they will come and subsume you. That is their goal. So, so one more thing in the end, I would like to ask you to end with it. What do you think about the political scene? How is it going to change in Bangladesh? What do you think is going to be the future of Bangladesh now, ahead, looking ahead?
Yesterday, one of my Indian American friends actually gave me good, interesting information. He has contacted high officials in India. So you probably know that there are a lot of Indian entrepreneurs who had a textile business in Bangladesh, where Bangladeshi labor is used. Bangladeshi workers are working, and they probably put a label made in India. But you see, Bangladeshis are being benefited, but some of the entrepreneurs are withdrawing. $30 billion business will be lost very soon, and the business is going to Sri Lanka. And maybe
Hmm.
it's the beginning. And millions and billions of dollars are being wasted at the time by revenge killing and all this.
Hmm.
And many of the Western investors at the moment will not be very forthcoming or very interested in investing. So uh, I and there is a greater chance of civil war also.
Hmm.
So if the civil war happens, it will become either a Syria or Somalia. So
Hmm.
that's the worst scenario. Now, if
So for civil war, do you mean because the minorities are already being gotten rid of? So you're saying within the Muslims, I mean, there is a Awami League Muslim section versus the Jamati who are going to clash in the civil war. Are you talking
yeah,
about that?
that's probably in Tungipara. You see, these Islamist thugs didn't have any sorrow because the Islamist thugs with the brain dead people.
Hmm.
They basically destroyed the face statues of Bangabandhu, and somebody had the audacity to pee. I mean, they don't care because they don't have any love for the land. Remember, Bangladesh is an independent nation because of the founding father. Obviously, he struggled, but this is the end of him because of his fault of his daughter. Now, I tell you one thing: the fight Tungipara
Hmm.
in Gopalganj, that area
Hmm.
is a fort of Awabi League. Thank God, at the moment, army is more or less is calling all the shots to some extent, although there is no police. But there was a big gathering recently in Tungipara, and Sheikh Mujib and his family's graves are in Tungipara. You probably know that. I was kind of very worried that if the Islamic thugs with the millions they go and destroy it could have been happened, because these people are not. Unfortunately, they are doing all barbaric act. They are not showing any humanity. Basically, these Islamist thugs. So the Tungipara gathering, the leaders already take an oath, and they took an oath, and they said we would not allow anybody to touch or attack. I mean, they are ready. So in some pockets, where the Army League is majority, Army League minded, they are already kind of united.
Hmm.
So we'll see. But it may happen if
Hmm.
another scenario I'm giving you. If Yunus collapses, students may again come, maybe hundreds of thousands of students will gather again. Who will be the leader? An army is waiting in the wings. Army was not very interested before because of the peacekeeping troops in by the United Nations. Because if army takes over, and it was a lucrative thing that the Bangladeshi army was doing a lot of peace mission jobs all over the world in many countries, and
Hmm.
United Nations will not allow if army takes over. But as a last resort, if the whole country is blaming, burning like Somalia, army may have no other choice. You understand? Because students cannot rule a country. You and I know.
Yes, absolutely. And so, one small point I would like to point to you out. Sheikh Mujibur Rahman himself was a right-hand man of Surawadi, who was the architect of the direct action call by Jinnah, the Great Calcutta killings that happened on August 16th, 1946. I mean, just a week later, we would be celebrating, rather mourning that um, anniversary where thousands of Hindus were butchered and women were raped just because they had a plan to get rid of, or rather terrorize Hindus of Calcutta so that Calcutta can be included in East Pakistan or Pakistan, because there was no Bangladesh there.
The
So
plan was, sorry, may I interrupt? At that time, the plan was to have Howrah Bridge as the international border, because Hooghly River was a like geographical boundary, would have been the geographical boundary between Bangladesh and uh, India, and at that side Howrah station would have been. Still, the Kolkata station name is Howrah station, if you remember, if somebody knows. So they were very much planned to blow the Howrah Bridge and uh, and have Calcutta as a capital, because it was the plan in the Jinnah's plan. Ki without
yeah,
Kolkata, what will we do with the Pakistan?
yeah,
At that
because
time, it
it
was
was
a financial capital.
industrialized. I mean, the
Exactly.
whole, so I agree with that. So, uh, Zahirji, a little, I mean, the whole premise, the foundation was slightly wrong somewhere. So it had to go the Islamist way. But of course, once Bangladesh was formed, they did have a secular constitution. I mean, they did specify that it would be secular Bangladesh. So thank you so much, Zahirji, for enlightening us about the current situation in Bangladesh and how it is deteriorated and literally going to the brink of complete implosion due to Islamist forces and the Western forces like US and UK taking advantage of it for their own strategic interests, economic and strategic interests. Thanks a lot, Zahirji, for giving us your time, valuable time, and illuminating us. With this, I end this program, and I hope that we do something for Hindus in Bangladesh who are really suffering and facing an existential crisis there. Perhaps the Hindus themselves have to stand up for their rights sometime.
Definitely. I
It's
agree
time
with
we
you.
do that.
I agree with you
Yes, sir.
100%. Yeah, Hindus must also rise up because they have to protect themselves. Because you know that many look at the minor. I'm just giving an example. In England, at the moment, race riot is going on. Extreme right, or what I call it, the English Defence League. They're attacking some Muslim communities, and they were raising Allahu Akbar. They're also raising up. But I'm not telling the Hindus should rise up and say Joy Mata. At least they should have, I mean, they should protect themselves. So I don't advise them how they will, but they should not just get beaten up and flee to India. They should not do that anymore.
Absolutely.
That's my suggestion. And it was a nice talking to you, and also I'm very glad. And I mean, I can say our talk will continue. We'll talk more and more.
Great pleasure, Zahirji, to have you with us, and a very good advice coming from you for the Hindus. I hope Hindus heed to it. And you're very right, because it is their motherland. I mean, there's no use fleeing. How far are you going to flee? And why would you give your land to the Islamists to completely make it a desert? I mean, look at the way Afghanistan has become now. Why should you make such a mess of it? So thank you very much, Janirji. It's really been a pleasure to host you.
You're
Thank you
most
very
welcome.
much.
Have a nice day.